circle, puts the shot in the air. Good!
Hello everyone, welcome to Sports Source, your number one source for sports, and today we are going to be ranking the top 10 players in the NBA. Now, this is my list, so these are all my opinions, so if you have your own list, let me know down in the comment section below. But basically how I determined the top 10 players, it's not from this season, it's just who are the top 10 players, in my opinion, in the NBA. So, the two main factors are their performance this season, obviously, because it's the top 10 players of this season, but also team success and the impact they have on their team. So, let's get started with number 10. At number 10, we have Russell Westbrook. Now, he leads the league in steals currently as I'm making this video, and he's just locked in on defense. He's been a terrific defender this year for that Oklahoma City team. He's a triple-double machine as he is averaging 22, 11, and 11, but there's a few problems, there's a few problems with him. First of all, he's not an efficient shooter. He's not a good shooter at all. He's shooting 41% from the field, I think 60% from the free throw line, and a very bad three-point percentage, so that's not good. But he makes up for it because he's a tremendous athlete. But he's also averages a lot of turnovers, which, I mean, that's no surprise. He always averages lots of turnovers. Some people argue he's too ball dominant, but this year I feel like he's worried more about team success than personal success, so that's why he's this high up. You know, people call him overrated, but I think this year he's stepped up in those aspects. But another thing about his game is IQ. His shot IQ isn't the greatest, and just his passing, just things in general. He's not the smartest basketball player, but you have to look at all his talent. He has the talent of a top 10 NBA player, and he just needs to apply it better. But I think that he has the talent to be a top 10 NBA player. It's just how he uses it is the only problem for Russell Westbrook. Now, this next one between number 9 and number 8 was a very tough one, but at number 9, I'm giving it to Joel Embiid. He is a terrific defender and one of the best rim protectors in the NBA. He is a double-double machine as he is averaging 27, 13, and 4. And he is one of the most dominant post scorers, if not the most dominant post scorer in the NBA. And he's had lots of team success, so that's why he's this high. But there's a couple things that doesn't make Joel Embiid higher on this list. The first thing is clutchness. Now, he doesn't take those big shots for the Sixers because they have Jimmy Butler. And some people are, well, he is the best player on that team, but Butler makes it seem like he isn't. And the last and final thing is his energy. He is the first place in net rating for the first half of a game, but he is last in net rating for the second half of a game. And there's also sometimes when I see the box score, I'm like, damn, Joel has 27 at the half, and then he finishes off with like a 33-point game. So he needs to preserve his energy, but he is a very good player for the Philadelphia 76ers, and that's why he is this high up on the list. At number 8 is Paul George. Now, him and Joel Embiid are right there, but the reason I give it to Paul George is he's just been so great this season. He is tied for first in the league with steals with Russell Westbrook, and he's helped that team be one of the best defensive teams in the league. He is a great scorer, and he has proven that he could be a main scoring option on a team, and he has taken over that Oklahoma City Thunder team. He's also a great shooter. He's shooting one of the best percentages of the year. He's averaging 27, 8, and 4. And in my eyes, he's a top 10 player in the NBA without a doubt with how he's been playing this season and team success mixed in. Also, along with the defense, there's not really too many flaws in his game. Maybe consistency, but that's really the only flaw I can see. He's just not up there with the big 7, and trust me, you will see who the big 7 are. They're out of this world. Coming in at number 7 is Giannis Antetokounmpo. He is averaging 27, 13, and 6 right now. And the reason he's so up on this list is his team has been one of the best in the NBA and most of the surprising team this season. He is one of the most versatile defenders in the NBA. He is a great post defender and perimeter defender, and he has led his team to one of the best defenses in the NBA. He's got a lot of team success, but there are a couple problems with Giannis. One is his age. I wouldn't feel right putting him this high on this list, because, you know, he's only 24, and there's guys up here who've been in the league and put in that work for a longer period of time. You know, Giannis is an amazing player, but this top 7 is a really tight list, and I just don't feel right putting him way up there yet. Another one is he can't shoot. That's obviously the biggest weakness in his game, is that he literally can't shoot. He is one of the best, if not the best, finisher at the rim, but from outside, he's just not a shooter. But yet he continues to keep shooting because he wants to improve. But at the end of the day, if that's not your game, then you're not going to be hitting those shots for your team. Overall, it's not really hurting their team, and he is a top MVP candidate for this season, so that's why I have him at number 7. Coming in at number 6 is Kawhi Leonard. Now, the reason he's so up high on this list is because he is an amazing defender. Some argue he's the best defender in the league. He is a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year award winner. He is an efficient scorer. He's shooting 50% from the field. He can create his own shot. He's a very efficient scorer, and he's versatile. He can fit into any system, basically. And he's not very ball dominant. He can work off the ball extremely well, and he is very consistent. He has had 30 games in a row, scoring over 20 points a game, so that's very good. And his team is very successful as I'm recording this video. They are the 2nd seed in the East. But the reason he's not higher up on this list is because A, there's better players ahead of him, and it's really hard to make it high up on this list. And B, it's because his team, it's not that his team necessarily doesn't need him, but when Kawhi's out, because he's been resting a lot, he's only played 38 games this season, but when he is out resting, the team still is winning just fine. So that proves to me, that he's still a really good player, but that the team also does virtually better without him, but which is a bad thing to say. But I think that he's not valuable enough to his team, but he is still virtually a top 10 player in the NBA. Coming in at number 5 is James Harden. Now, originally I had him higher up on this list, but I've decided to demote him for a couple of reasons that I will explain soon. But let's talk about the good of James Harden. He is on a historic scoring run right now, and he has just been lights out, killing every team, and he's just been a monster. And he's been one of the best offensive players for a couple of years now, and he's been MVP candidate for 3-4 years in a row. And some people argue that he should already have 2 MVPs to his name, maybe even 3. And at the start of the season, the Houston Rockets, they weren't looking too hot. But then CP3 went down, and Harden took complete control of that team, and that's what started this historic scoring run. But the reason that he is not higher up on this list, and the reason why I demoted him, is because consistency. There's lots of games where he's not shooting very efficient. Some people argue the free throw things too, but I actually have that as a positive because it's a skill at drawing so many free throws, and you can't really blame him for being smart and drawing so many free throws and getting to the line. And he's an amazing free throw shooter, by the way, so he's going to hit that. But another reason is too many turnovers. He has lots of turnovers in a game because the whole game is based around him. He is the only player that is, the whole Rockets team is revolved around him. It's all iso ball. I seen a stat that was he scored 100 points over 2 games and none of them were assisted. That shows you that he is just an ISO player, and he's not necessarily a quote-unquote team player. But at the end of this day, he's still a top 5 player in the NBA, in my opinion, and he is still probably going to be the MVP of this season. Coming in at number 4 is Stephen Curry. Now, I think it's safe to say by now that he is the best shooter of all time. He is the best shooter we have ever seen, and he has single-handedly revolutionized the game. And he is a very amazing playmaker. Most people don't see that. He only averages 5 assists a game, but his playmaking goes so much deeper than just assists, and he has proven to be one of the best playmakers in the NBA. Because if you look at the team before Durant came there, people were wondering, is Klay's numbers going to drop off, or is everything going to go down? But they have kept their numbers the same, even while adding one of the best players in the NBA. Now, he's also a great finisher at the rim. Some people think he's just a shooter, but he is actually one of the best finishers at the rim in the NBA. He is an underrated defender, but even though he's an underrated defender, he is still not a great defender, and that's one of his weaknesses, and that's why some of these guys are above him, because he's not a great defender. Even though he has proven to play defense, and he is an underrated defender, he's not that high. But his team success is very, very good. They're obviously one of the best teams of all time, and they're a dynasty by now. And you also look at when he gets injured, the team just doesn't feel quite the same. You still have guys scoring at incredible rates, but the team just doesn't flow as nice. They don't score as much. Curry really helps that team in so many ways that, you can't really look at stats that much. But even though his stats are pretty nice, as he is averaging 29, 5, and 5, another knack on him is his ankle injury has been whittling him through his whole career. And the only reason I can see the Warriors not winning this championship is if Curry isn't healthy. Now we're into the top 3. And at number 3, I have Anthony Davis. He is a great scorer. He is one of the best scorers in the NBA. And he is also one of the best defenders in the NBA. And defending is half the game. So if you see some players lower than they should be, like James Harden, for example, he's a very good offensive player, but defense plays a big role into it too. And Anthony Davis, He's just such a great player. He's a great two-way player, one of the best two-way players in the game, and he is actually a very underrated playmaker. I've been watching some Pelicans games, and he's a very good playmaker. He's just not given the ball a lot, and his playmaking role isn't really enhanced, but he is a very efficient scorer as well. The only knack I have on him on why he's not higher on this list is team success, because the Pelicans are not having a good success rate. But if you look at let's say Embiid, because some people argue that Embiid is better than Davis. Switch Embiid and Davis. What does Embiid do on the Pelicans? They're in the same spot. So you can't really blame all of this team success on Davis, because what else do you expect him to do? He's literally playing up 29, 13, and 4. He kind of reminds me of when Kevin Garnett was on the Timberwolves, when they were playing really trash, but then he went to Boston. And right now, as I'm recording this video, this morning it was announced that Anthony Davis requested a trade to... He didn't request a trade to the Los Angeles Lakers, but he requested a trade, and most likely he's going to end up with the Lakers. So maybe he could pull a KG route, and maybe he could be even more successful with the LA Lakers. At number 2, we have Kevin Durant. Now, I don't know if he's still... Some people argue that he's not the second best player in the NBA anymore, but I think he is for this reason. He is, in my opinion, the most versatile scorer in the NBA. Think about it. He can catch you off the dribble, he can catch you slipping, he can pull up for 3, or he could drive to the lane and finish at will. He can score in basically any way, and he has no seeable offensive flaws. He is a good defender for his weight. Now, the only problem with his defense is that he's not strong enough to guard the bigger players, but that's why he's at small forward. And if you think about this, free agency is going to be big for Kevin Durant because he fits well literally on any team. Unlike LeBron, but if you put Kevin Durant on any NBA team, he will fit in perfectly like a puzzle. The Brooklyn Nets, he'll fit right in. Knicks, fit right in. Any Clippers, he'll fit right in. Any team, he'll just fit right in because that's the type of player he is. He's so versatile, and he fits into any system, and that's why he's still number 2 on this list. And I think we all know who number 1 is. And at number 1, it is LeBron James. To no one's surprise, in my eyes, he is still the best player in the NBA. He is the most unguardable player in the NBA, in my opinion. He is one of the best playmakers in the NBA. He is just an amazing leader. And in my eyes, he is the second best player of all time. So there's no doubt that he's the best player in the NBA right now. He is a great scorer. He's efficient. He's a good leader. And overall, he's just great. He's been injured lots of the season with that groin injury, which has kind of been hurting the team a little bit. But if he could come back and take control of this Lakers team, and maybe if they acquire Anthony Davis, then this team will be unstoppable. And you can't count out LeBron when the playoffs come around. And he's still doing all of this at the age of 34. But what do you guys think of my list? Let me know down in the comment section below on what you would change. And let me know your lists down in the comment section below. I'll see you in the next one. Take care and goodbye.